Welcome to the course of Data Communication Networking, B7 semester Electronics and Communication Engineering. We are discussing a local area network unit in which today's topic is wired LAN, fast Ethernet and gigabit Ethernet. In the previous session, we have discussed a wired LAN in which standard Ethernet and changes in the standard is discussed. Start with our fast Ethernet. The fast Ethernet was designed to compete with LAN protocols such as FDDI or fiber channels. IEEE has created a fast Ethernet under the name of 802.3/U. Fast Ethernet is a backward compatible with a standard Ethernet, but it can transmit the data 10 times faster than its rate of 10 Mbps. The goal of the fast Ethernet can be summarized as follows. First is it upgrade the data rate at up to 100 Mbps. Second is make it compatible with a standard Ethernet. Third is it keep the same 48-bit address. And fourth is it will keep the same frame format. And the last, it will keep the same minimum and the maximum frame length. All R will be same, it just increase the data rate. A following topic to be discussed in this fast Ethernet is MAC sublayer and physical layer. So first is what is a MAC sublayer in this fast Ethernet. The main consideration in the evolution of an Ethernet from 10 to 100 Mbps was to keep the MAC sublayer untouched. However, a decision was made to drop the bus topologies and keep only the star topology. For the star topology, there are two choices. As we saw before, half duplex and full duplex. In the half duplex approach, the stations are connected via a hub. In a full duplex approach, a connection is made via switch with a buffer at each point. The access method is the same as CSMA/CD for the half duplex approach, and for full duplex fast Ethernet, there is no need for CSMA/CD. However, the implementation keep the CSMA/CD for a backward compatibility with a standard Ethernet. So over here, auto negotiation come into the picture. So a new feature added in our fast Ethernet is called auto negotiation. It allows a station or a hub a range of capabilities. The auto negotiation allow two devices to negotiate the mode or the data rate of the operation. It was designed particularly for a following purpose. It is designed to allow incompatible devices to connect to the one another. Means two incompatible devices can be connected with this auto negotiation, and it is also used to allow one device to have multiple capabilities, and it is also used to allow a station to check a hub's capabilities. Fine. So there are some useful purpose for this auto negotiation feature. Physical layer. The physical layer is a fast Ethernet is more complicated than one of the standard Ethernet. We will briefly discuss this in this section. So first of all, what are the topologies in our fast Ethernet? The fast Ethernet is designed to connect two or more stations together. If there are only the two stations, they can connected via point to point. Fine, you can see over here. Three or more stations need to be connected via a star topology with a hub or a switch at the center, as you can see in this figure. Implementation. So the fast Ethernet implementation at the physical layer can be categorized either the 2-wire or the 4-wire. The 2-wire implementation can be either category 5 UTP, or you can say that 100 base TX, or the fiber optic cable 100 base FX, as you can see over here. The 4-wire implementation is designed only a category 3 UTP called as an 10 base T4. You can see in the classification of this fast Ethernet implementation. Okay, over here there are two wire cables. One is fiber optic and another is UTP, and 4-wire cable have a 3 UTP. So what are the encoding used in our fast Ethernet? So Manchester encoding needs 200 megabytes bandwidth for the data rate of 100 Mbps, which makes it unsuitable for a medium such as a twisted pair cable. For this reason, the fast Ethernet designer sought some alternative encoding or decoding scheme. However, it was found that one scheme would not perform equally well for 3 implementations. Therefore, 3 different encoding schemes were chosen. You can see in this figure. 3 different encoding schemes can be applied to our fast Ethernet implementation. In our 10 base TX uses a 2 pair of twisted pair cable, either category 5 or STP. For this implementation, an MLT3 scheme was selected since it is a good bandwidth performance. However, since MLT3 is not a self-synchronous line coding scheme, 4B by 5B block coding is used to provide a synchronization by preventing the occurrence of long sequence of zeros and ones. This creates the data rate of 125 Mbps, which is fed in MLT3 encoding. Fine. So MLT3 encoding is used in this 2 UTP category 5, means 10 base TX. So what is the use in our 10 base FX? Our 10 base FX uses the 2 pair of fiber optic cables. Optical fiber can easily handle the high bandwidth requirements by using a simple encoding schemes. Designer of 10 base FX selected an NRZ1 encoding scheme for this implementation. However, our NRZ has a bit synchronization problem for the long sequence of zeros or ones. To overcome this problem, our designer used a 4B by 5B encoder and decoder, as you can see in this figure. Our block encoding increased the bit rate from 100 to 125 Mbps, which can easily be handled by the fiber optic cables. A 10 base TX network can provide a data rate of 100 Mbps, but it requires the use of a category 5 or STP cable. This is not cost effective for the buildings that have already been wired for a voice graded twisted pair. A new standard called as an 100 base T4 was designed to use a category 3 or a higher UTP. The implementation uses a 4 pair of UTP for a transmitting of 100 Mbps. Encoding and decoding in 100 base T4 is more complicated. As this implementation uses the category 3 UTP, each twisted pair cannot easily handle more than 25 megabytes. In this design, one pair switches between the sending and the receiving. Three pairs of UTP category 3, however, can handle only 75 megabytes or 25 megabytes each. We need to use an encoding scheme converts the 100 Mbps to 75 megabytes signal. An 88 by 60 encoder and the decoder is used in this implementation. 8 data elements are encoded at the 6 signal elements. This means that 100 Mbps use only 6 by 8 into 100 Mbps is equal to 75 megabytes. So let's summarize our fast Ethernet in a table. So you can see the characteristics column 10 base TX, 10 base FX and 100 base T4. Sorry, it's my mistakes. It is 100 base TX, 100 base FX and 100 base T4. So media, what media is used? Category 5 UTP or STP. Over here a fiber cable is there. Over here category 4 UTP is used. How many numbers in each implementation? Over here first two are the 2 wire and the last have 4 wires. What is the maximum length? All have 100 meter maximum length. What is a block encoding? 4B by 5B used by 100 base TX and 100 base FX, and a line encoding is used MLT3 in 100 base TX. NRZ1 is used at an 100 base FX, and 8B by 60 is used at 100 base T4. So it is a summary of our fast Ethernet implementations. Next is a gigabit Ethernet. The need for an even higher data rate result in the design of a gigabit Ethernet protocol, nearly 1000 Mbps. The IEEE committee calls the standard 802.3Z. The goal of the gigabit Ethernet design can be summarized as below. It can use to upgrade the data rate of 1 Gbps. It is used make it compatible with standard and fast Ethernet. It uses the same 48-bit address and it is the same frame format, and it will keep the minimum and the maximum frame lengths, and it is used to support the auto negotiation as defined in our fast Ethernet. So as you can see, particular MAC sublayer is there. The main consideration in the evaluation of Ethernet was to keep the MAC sublayer untouched. However, to achieve the data rate of 1 Gbps, this was no longer possible. A gigabit Ethernet has two distinctive approaches for the medium access: full duplex mode and half duplex mode. Almost all the implementation of a gigabit Ethernet follow the full duplex mode. However, we briefly discuss the half duplex approach to show that the gigabit Ethernet can be compatible with a previous generation. So first is full duplex mode. In a full duplex mode, there is a central switch connected to all the computers or other switches. In this mode, each switch has buffers for each input port in which the data are stored until they are transmitted. There is no collision in this mode. This means that CSMS CD is not used over here. A lack of collision implies that the maximum length of a cable is determined by the signal attenuation in the cable, not by the collision detection process. So we can say that in a full duplex mode, the gigabit Ethernet, there is no collision. The maximum length of the cable is determined by the signal attenuation in the cable. Second is half duplex mode. A gigabit Ethernet can also be used in a half duplex mode, although it is a rare. In this case, a switch can be replaced by a hub, which act as a common cable in which a collision might occur. The half duplex approach uses a CSMS CD approach. However, we saw before the maximum length of a network is approach is totally dependent on the minimum frame size. Three methods have been defined: traditional, carrier extension, and the frame bursting. So we will see each one. First is traditional. In the traditional approach, we keep the minimum length of the frame as in a traditional Ethernet, just like our 512 bits. However, because the length of the bit is 1 by 1000 shorter the gigabit Ethernet than the 10 Mbps Ethernet, the slot time in the gigabit Ethernet is 512 bits into 1 upon 1 upon 1000 microsecond, which is equal to 0.512 microsecond. The reduced slot time means that the collision is detected 100 times earlier. This means that the maximum length of a network is 25 meters. This length may be suitable if all the stations are in the room, but it may not even be long enough to connect the companies in one single office. Second is carrier extension. To allow a larger network, we increase the minimum frame length. The carrier extension approach defines the minimum length of the frame as 512 bytes or 4096 bits. This means that the minimum length is 8 times longer. This method forces a station to add extension bits, just like a padding, to any frame that is less than 4096 bits. In this way, a maximum length of the network can be increased 8 times to the length of 200 meters. This allows a length of 100 meters from the hub to the station. Last is a frame bursting. A carrier extension is very insufficient if we have a series of short frames to send. Each frame carries a redundant data. To improve the efficiency, the frame bursting was proposed. Instead of adding an extension to each frame, multiple frames are sent. However, to make these multiple frames look like a one frame, padding is added between the frames, so that our channel is not an ideal. In other words, the method deceives other station into the thinking that a very large frame has been transmitted. So, what is a physical layer in this gigabit Ethernet? The physical layer in the gigabit Ethernet is more complicated than the standard or the fast Ethernet. So, what are the topologies used in our gigabit Ethernet? We can see in this figure. Our gigabit Ethernet is designed to connect the two or more stations. If there are only two stations, they can be connected point to point, as you can see in this first figure. 3 or more stations need to be connected in a star topology with hub or a switch at the center. You can see the switch over here. And another possible configuration is to connect the several star topologies, or let a star topology be part of the another shown in this figure. Fine. So you can see there are the two switches are connected and 3 switches are connected in this fashion. So it is a 2 star topology over here. Over here a hierarchical star topology is used. So in the another implementation, the gigabit Ethernet can be categorized as either a 2-wire or a 4-wire implementation. The 2-wire implementation use a fiber cable, 1000 base SX short wave or 1000 base LX long wave or STP 1000 base CX. The 4-wire version uses the category 5 twisted pair cable just like a 1000 base T. In other words, we have 4 implementation as shown in our figure. That 1000 base T was designed in a response to those users who had already installed wiring for their other purpose such as a fast Ethernet or a telephone service. So what is the encoding used in this gigabit Ethernet? A gigabit Ethernet cannot use a Manchester encoding because it involves a very high bandwidth 2 GB or 2 gigabytes. The 2-wire implementation uses the NRZ scheme, but the NRZ does not self-synchronize properly. To synchronize our bits, particularly at this high data rate, an 8 by 10 block encoder is used in this gigabit Ethernet. This block shows the 2 fiber optic cables and 2 STPs in this implementation. This block encoding prevents the long sequence of zeros and ones in the streams, but the resulting stream is 1.5 Gbps. Note that in this implementation, 1 wire is used for this sending and 1 for receiving. In a 4-wire implementation, it is not possible to have 2 wires for an input and 2 for an output, because each wire would need to carry a 500 Mbps, which exceeds the capacity of our category 5 UTP. As a solution, 4D PAM5 encoding is used in this reduce the bandwidth. Thus, all 4 wires are involved in the both input and the output. Each wire carries 250 Mbps, which is in the range of category 5 UTP cable. Fine. So it will compatible in this implementation. So let's summarize our gigabit Ethernet with the help of the table. Media is used in a 1000 base SX and 1000 base LX is fiber, and but in the first case it is a short wave, in the latter case is a long wave. 1000 base CX uses STP media and 1000 base T uses a category 5 UTP. First 3 have a 2 number of wires, in the last 4 wires are there. A maximum 1000 base LX uses have a 5000 meters. 1000 base SX have a 550 meter and 1000 base CX has a 25 meter, where the 1000 base T have a only 100 meters. First 3 have a block coding of 8B by 10B block coding. First 3 have a line encoding of NRZ, and fourth is 4D PAM5. So next is 10 gigabit Ethernet. So that is the last point of this section. The IEEE committee had created a 10 gigabit Ethernet that called in a standard of 802.3 AE. The goals of the 10 gigabit Ethernet design can be summarized as follows. It is the data rate of 10 Gbps. It will make it compatible with a standard fast or gigabit Ethernet. It uses the same 48-bit address and also have a same frame format. It will keep the minimum and the maximum frame length, and it allow the interconnection of existing LAN into a metropolitan area network or a wide area network. It will make the Ethernet compatible with a technology such as a frame relay or ATM. So what is a MAC sublayer in this 10 gigabit Ethernet? The 10 gigabit Ethernet operates only a full duplex mode, which means that there is no need for a correction or a contention. So the CSMACD is not used in our 10 gigabit Ethernet. A physical layer in the 10 gigabit Ethernet is designed for using a fiber optic cable over long distances. Three implementations are the most common: 10 base S, 10 GBS, 10 G base L, and 10 G base E. You can say that it is a 10 gigabase S, 10 gigabase L, and 10 gigabase E. Table shows the summary of our 10 gigabit Ethernet implementation. A 10 G base S uses a short wave 850 nanometer multi-mode media. 10 G base L uses a long wave 1310 nanometer single mode media. Last 10 G base E uses an extended 1550 millimeter single mode media. A 10 G base S have a 300 meters length. A 10 G base L have a 10 kilometer length, and 10 G base E have a 40 kilometers length. So we have completed our session over here. Let's revise in 1 minute. We started our discussion with our fast Ethernet. We have seen the goals of the fast Ethernet. We have also seen an auto negotiation concept, a particular topology in a fast Ethernet, various implementation, 2-wire and 4-wire implementation in a fast Ethernet, encoding scheme, summary of our fast Ethernet. Then we have seen a gigabit Ethernet, its goal, a MAC sublayer, a full duplex mode, physical topologies in a fast gigabit Ethernet, then encoding scheme, then a summary of a gigabit Ethernet. After all, a 10 gigabit Ethernet is introduced. MAC sublayer, physical layer is used. Then at last the summary. So it is a question for you. Write down in your notebook and send back it to me as per the given direction. Thank you, students. See you in the next session.